Well, a landlord with hundreds of properties was pushed out of Minnesota, and their former rental properties are now slowly returning to families for ownership. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard toured one of those former rental properties in North Minneapolis today. So, Corin, it sounds like this could be a major change for folks in that community.
Yeah, Amy, both from a financial perspective and from a health perspective as well. This one right here was one of about 600 homes in the Twin Cities metro that was owned by Havenbrook. They owned 220 homes just in North Minneapolis, and renters' rights groups said that gave them too much power to kind of control what the rent was, to do very little in the way of repairs, and to squeeze $40 million in wealth out of North Minneapolis alone. But they are gone now, and single-family home ownership is starting to come back in their former places. This one right here has been rehabilitated. It's about 2,100 square feet, and it's going to sell to a single-family home. To be a single-family home, it's going to sell for about $280,000.
If it sounds familiar to some people, Fox 9 has been reporting on this extensively on Havenbrook before they left Minnesota. So how did that play a role in this and lead us to this stage?
Yeah, we heard back in 2022 at least, and maybe even before that, we heard from renters who said that they had a lot of problems with Havenbrook, that they were just leaving everything unfixed here. We're talking about standing water, mold, broken appliances, and a lot more. And so the Attorney General investigated, found some of the same problems, a lot more problems, sued Havenbrook, eventually got a settlement that was $2 million for the renters who had lived in these terrible conditions, and then $2 million more in rent forgiveness. And then Havenbrook left the state after selling off all of their properties. But here in North Minneapolis, about 15% of all the rental properties are owned by big corporations that own at least 10 of these properties. And so Attorney General Keith Ellison told me he's still keeping an eye on all of them.
After the 2008 financial crisis, a lot of these big hedge fund, private equity firms scooped up and got into the rental housing market. It's not a healthy thing. Landlords do a good service for people who need rental housing, but it works best when the landlord is close by, can watch the property, has a relationship with the tenant. These nameless, faceless hedge fund, private equity firms, they don't care.
Corin, I'm curious if you had a chance to talk to anybody who lives in that area. Ignored rental property, rehab like this is just not something that happens every day.
No, I did talk to the next door neighbor here and a few others. The next door neighbors lived there for like 4 decades or even more, and she did tour the place today. Very excited about it. She said she saw this property kind of decline maybe 20 years ago, and tenants would come and go, but she's pretty excited to see what's going on here, and we're going to hear a lot more from her coming up at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Corin. Appreciate it.